everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and I am coming back with another writing video today. And these are the writing tools that I have personally used to write many novels and that I think are worth the money. So it's been a while since I've sat down and done a writing video like this, and it's so nice because there is a lot happening behind the scenes, which is exciting, and you are gonna hear some news soon, hopefully. Just a little teaser to my lovely YouTube community here, but I really wanted to sit down and make a proper writing video about tools, whether that's apps, books, systems that really help me, and some of these do cost money, so I wanted to kind of highlight the ones that actually are worth the investment, because I made the investment on these a few years ago and actually worth the investment, definitely. So the intention is with this video to really just help you guys out if you're at the beginning of a writing journey, or you're wanting to dabble, or if you're a seasoned writer who just wants to upgrade your systems and find things that will actually improve your writing. And for a bit of background about me, I'm Lucy, I'm an agented author, and I have been on submission this year with a dark gothic romantic fantasy novel, which I've called Project Shadow for the time being. News to be announced. I've had my agent for a few years now, and I've kind of been constantly focusing on upgrading my systems, upgrading my tools that I use in order to make me a better writer. So without further ado, we are going to get on with the video. But first, I wanted to shout out something really exciting. So all you budding writers out there, one of my biggest recommendations is to try to enter writing prizes, writing competitions, and especially in the short story space, because these can be written up fairly quickly. They're not as big of a commitment as writing a full novel. And I have really exciting news in that I am hosting this week's Reedsy short story competition. So if you don't know about Reedsy, it is an incredible community for writers, and I have partnered with them before on this channel. I flagged their incredible Reedsy writers course, and I've used that course, it's phenomenal. So I really am a big fan of Reedsy as a company. But they host weekly short story competitions, and each week one winner will win $250 for their short story, which is a huge boost to any writer. And then two runners-up win $25 coupons towards hiring an editor or a designer on the Reedsy marketplace, which is where you can find qualified editors, proofreaders, designers to work on your book. So the submission is $5 per story, and your story needs to be between 1,000 and 3,000 words. And drum roll, announcing my theme, because it is autumn right now and we are approaching Halloween, I wanted to come up with something spooky and unsettling. If you know me, I love a gothic theme, I love a dark theme. The book I finished writing this year and went out on submission with is a gothic fantasy, and this theme speaks to my love of the genre. So my theme for this week's Reedsy short story contest is "It Could Just Be the Wind, ... So this theme really draws on the ambiguity and uncertainty of a supernatural event or something unsettling happening, which leads the reader to question, is it real? Is it a real supernatural or, spooky occurrence, or is it all just in the character's mind? Is it all just in the reader's mind? So this really is perfect for any writers wanting to explore that liminal space around Halloween, spooky season, around what is real and what is imaginary. And it draws the line between psychology and psychological suspense and then actual horror. So it is up to you how you want to play on that theme. But I've come up with 5 prompts to help you create your short story. I will leave a link down below to the theme and my little write-up on Reedsy's website, where you can find all the full details, full description of the theme, the 5 prompts that I have encouraged you guys to spark your imagination. I'm so excited about reading your entries because I get to pick the winners, which is so exciting, and I really do hope some of you guys will enter this because I can't wait to read your writing. And the contest runs from October 17th, when this video goes out, till October 24th. So don't overthink it, just enter the competition and you could be in for a chance of winning $250 and getting some critique and feedback from me. So super excited. Thank you to Reedsy for partnering with me on this. Good luck to all you writers out there, and let's get cracking with the video. Okay, so we're going to start with writing apps. Now, writing apps, I haven't bought a lot of tools, systems in this space, except from my one true love, Scrivener. I talk about Scrivener a lot on this channel. In all my writing videos, I will talk about Scrivener because in my opinion, it has transformed me from an amateur writer who didn't know how to finish a book, who didn't know how to craft a story, to a writer who is agented and who has gone out and submission to publishers and has managed to bridge that gap. I owe a lot to Scrivener, and yes, it is a paid tool. So if you have no idea what Scrivener is, it is basically like a word processor, a writing processor, like Microsoft Word, but it is built for writers. So it has really helpful templates, helpful tools. I really like that you can split your draft into different acts and then into different chapters, into different scenes. It really helps you to think about like the structure of your story, and also then you can write in non-chronological order for those of you who want to. It also includes really helpful character templates, world building templates. I love their like word count feature, like how it kind of like just does something to my brain seeing the word count like go up. I'm a huge fan of Scrivener. And also, I like how usable it is because I also write on my iPad when I'm out and about. So you can connect Scrivener on your kind of desktop or laptop and Scrivener on your phone or iPad, I think, as well. So I use that. I kind of hover between my laptop and my iPad when I'm drafting, and I use Scrivener on both, and it updates and syncs between those two devices. So huge fan of Scrivener. So for like a Mac or PC, Scrivener costs £55, but that is like one-off payment. Like you pay that to have the tool for life. And I bought it a few years ago where it was cheaper. I think it was like more like £40 then, or a bit less. I think it is worth every penny. I use it on every single book. And I do think if you're wanting to upgrade from a Word document and you want something that is a bit more like, what's the word? Just cohesive and actually built for writers, you will really enjoy Scrivener. So I really would recommend just taking the plunge. It's a one-off payment of £50, but actually it will transform your writing, and it has for me, for the better. I'm not being sponsored by Scrivener, by the way. I would love to be, but alas, I'm not being paid to talk about them like this. Then I have to shout out Notion. Now Notion is a free tool, and you don't really have to pay for Notion. I think you can upgrade if you want to, but I use Notion free on desktop, and I have a whole writing tab and I divide it into my different projects. So using Notion as a kind of like a way to kind of capture all of your ideas, your systems for writing, this is, yeah, a phenomenal tool. And I use Notion to organize my life. So I divide it into sections. There's like personal stuff, there's like YouTube stuff, there's writing stuff, there are like knitting parts of it as well. Like I've just designed it, like every part of my life, to be as efficient as possible. I use Notion, and I use it on my phone and I use it on my laptop as well, because you can have the built-in app. I also use it like to keep track of my New Year's resolutions, my goals. Like I really do use it for every element of my life, and writing is no exception. I also keep all my submission materials on there. So when I was querying agents, I created a table that was basically keeping track of every agent I queried to and their response and what I needed to include in my submission materials, all of that stuff. So if you want to get organized as a writer, like I'm sure you can find other systems that are equivalent to Notion, but like I love Notion, and again, sponsor me Notion, that'd be lovely. Other apps that I think are free. So I am a big fan of Flora. This is a productivity app, which is basically a Pomodoro method timer. So the Pomodoro method, you will have all heard of it. It's basically where you write or you're productive for a certain amount of time. So there's like a 25-minute block where you are doing something, and then there's like a 5-minute break, a few minutes of break, and then it starts again. So I use that for writing. I kind of call these writing sprints in my head, like, but it is a Pomodoro method. So I'll do a sprint of like half an hour, and then I'll take a 5-minute break. Half an hour, 5-minute break, and then I'll gradually increase the time that I'm writing for, just to kind of train my brain, because like going from like not writing to then an hour straight of writing, it can sometimes make me less productive. But knowing that I can do quick bursts and then have a little break, you know, whether that is like scrolling TikTok or like making a cup of tea or something, and then easing yourself into a longer sprint is so helpful. Flora as an app is all about like, you can grow trees and plant trees the more that you are doing a successful Pomodoro like session essentially. So really, really useful, like Flora a lot. And then this isn't obviously paid for, but Google Docs. Now I use the Google Word doc for editing my novels. So when I have finished drafting in Scrivener, I don't use Scrivener for editing. What I'll then do is I'll export my novel from Scrivener, and it compiles the novel and all your different scenes and chapters into one document. Then I upload that into my Google Docs, like online Google Docs. I'll go through, I'll edit it, and I'll send that version over to my agent. So I'll just download that Word document and I'll send it to my agent. And then I always upload any kind of like feedback or anything. That's when Google Docs takes over my author brain. So Scrivener's for drafting for me, Google Docs is the editing zone, just because I find it much easier, especially if my agent has left comments on the Word doc, it's much easier to edit that way. So that's what I do for that. Now I want to mention a book very briefly, which I'm sure there are so many incredible writing books out there. Please tell me your recommendations. I have not yet managed to read a load of these. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna give you recommendations of books I haven't personally read. But the book I have read and that I am a huge fan of and I use pretty much all the time when outlining and planning my novels is Save the Cat Writes a Novel. Now this is the Save the Cat formula, which is basically a beat sheet of like different parts of a novel structure and the beats that you should hit to create an incredible story. And it was originally kind of created, I believe, for screenwriting. So this kind of like formula has been translated for novelists. I love Save the Cat. I use it for outlining every single novel for the past however many years. And actually, I owe Save the Cat for the last two novels that I basically got me my agent, and they both went on submission, and I don't think I would have gotten to that point of finishing a novel, being able to get an agent and taking it on submission to publishers as something sellable, which is such a key part of the whole process, without Save the Cat and learning kind of the key emotional beats, like the inciting incident, the midpoint, like the darkest night of the soul. Like these are all such key parts of your story structure, and also like your characters, because you've got like your general plot, which will hit those beats, but actually your characters beats as well are just as important, because you want your character to have an arc, your character to have a journey, as well as like the plot, so they kind of run parallel to each other is the way I try to think of it. So Save the Cat Writes a Novel has to be done. So good. This is the part where I should have been more prepared, because you won't be able to see this, but I'm surrounded by cardboard boxes because we will be hopefully moving house soon. Please send me all your positive house buying energy that things work out smoothly, because they haven't thus far. Anyway, surrounded by boxes, so I can't show you these. But in terms of like physical equipment, like things that I use to help me write my novels. Muji notebooks, guys. Have I got them here? Like, no, I must have packed them away, which is so annoying, because like I would have showed you guys. Basically, in Muji, most places in the world will have a Muji, right? If not, I'm sure they're online. They're like a Japanese company that kind of like does it all. They have like great stationery though, and great pens especially. But I want to shout out their notebooks, because I buy a pack of 3 of Muji notebooks for every single different project I start. And I just love the size of them. You can get different sizes, but I love the quality. They're also very cheap as well, but the quality isn't cheap, if that makes sense. So I buy a pack of these Muji notebooks for every single project. I just basically like to get my ideas out from my head onto paper. Now, I would say I don't always use notebooks to brainstorm ideas. I also have downloads. I call them my downloads. It's a little bit weird, but like sometimes an idea will come to me fully formed, and my notes app on my phone is where my book ideas come to life, really. So when I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I've had an idea for a novel, my notes app. But then I do have to transport that from my notes app into a Muji notebook, outline it, kind of, you know, scribble it out. Like characters really come to life when I'm like using a notebook to outline and brainstorm. So I really love Muji notebooks, especially. They are like an essential to me for my writing. Then I have to shout out my keyboard for my iPad. So let me just go and get that now because I haven't packed that away. I am back. So this is something that was quite cheap on Amazon. I did go to Amazon rather than like, you know, buy a kind of more higher quality model, I guess, because I just wanted to try it out. So my big dilemma was it last year? I was on a self-imposed deadline for finishing Project Shadow. I wanted to get it done by the end of the year so I could send it to my agent, but part of my job, because I'm a book publicist working in book publishing, means that I do often have to go to a lot of events. And as I'm often on the go with work, I knew I wouldn't be able to bring like my work laptop, my personal laptop. There's too many laptops, you know. I wanted to bring my work laptop and then maybe like my iPad where I could write on my iPad. And this is where this case has come in handy. So this is just like your standard, I ordered this off Amazon. I'll try to find it down below and I'll link it. But basically this is an iPad case. So you put your iPad in the case like this, but then it comes with a magnetic, so this keyboard is magnetic, and it just literally like attaches to the inside of the case. It is just a flimsy bit of plastic, guys. I'm not even gonna lie, like the quality of the keyboard isn't great, but has it helped me out in a pickle when I've been at the airport flying to Dublin or somewhere, and I've had my iPad, I've got Scrivener on my iPad. As I say, I sync between the two, you know, Scriveners on my iPad and my laptop, and then I can just pull out this keyboard from my case and just start writing. It is actually like a blessing, and I think I might eventually upgrade to something a bit higher quality. So please do let me know if you've got any recommendations about, yeah, for iPad keyboards that are compact like this, because the best thing about this is the fact that it's all magnetic, it's all in a case, and yeah, literally all of it is in here. Like my keyboard, my iPad, my Apple Pencil, which, yeah, I have as well. I don't really use my Apple Pencil very much for like anything nowadays, but it's useful to have, I guess, if I did want to, you know, ever kind of like take notes on my iPad for outlining or drafting a novel. But this keyboard has saved me so many times and actually helped me to keep my daily writing habit on days where I've been traveling and I've not been able to lug a laptop around, or, you know, I thought I wouldn't have time to write, but actually I do have time to write. I just needed the right tools. So I really would recommend, like, make writing or find tools that make it easier for you to write. So if you are often on your phone, like, can you find a bit of software that can help you write a novel on your phone? Or can you, if you do use your iPad or you're traveling a lot, you know, get an iPad and a portable little keyboard and you're set. So that's my recommendations, and I really would recommend everything in this video. Also, a lot of these are very like budget and price conscious as well. Like, of course, Scrivener £50 is quite expensive for like an app, but that's lifetime use. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not paying that every year. So I really kind of wanted to find things that aren't just like super duper expensive, because if you want to get into writing, you don't want to make it inaccessible for yourself. And often the best tools are just the ones that work for you, that you use frequently. And sometimes, you know, I am guilty of saying, I can't do this thing until I have this very expensive piece of equipment. And that is incorrect. It goes for making YouTube videos. You can always just use your phone. It goes for editing software. You can always just use free editing software. It goes for writing a novel. You can just use free tools. And I know a lot of people who actually write their books on Google Drive, like on Google Docs, sorry, where they can just write, yeah, just write on a free bit of software like that, which is so, so good. Anyway, I hope this video has been useful for you. And do ask me any questions you want to in the comments. I'll leave links to everything mentioned as well down below in the comments. And I'll leave my link, of course, to my Reedsy short story contest that I am hosting this week. And I want to read all of your unsettling Is it real? Is it supernatural? Was it just the wind? Stories. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you again very soon. If you did enjoy this video, why not hit subscribe? I would love to see you here. And over the next few months, I will have exciting announcements. So please hit subscribe. Please follow me on social media. Instagram and TikTok are at the moment where I'm the most active. I'm at Bookbell Reads, they're on both. And do stay tuned on my social media for any of those announcements. Things are coming soon. And I wanted to thank you for all your support this year as well. And I'm very excited to read some of your short stories for the Reedsy competition as well. Link down below. Anyway, enough from me. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.